Hi, I'm Nick Bonner for TreeStuff.com, and today we're going to look at some of our best-selling blocks and pulleys for arborist use. When I first started as an arborist, these CMI blocks were what we had on our truck, and they served us really well. These are simple, robust blocks available in all the sizes that you might need, from a 1/2 inch all the way up to 1 inch. Here we're looking at 2 of the 3/4 inch blocks that have increasingly larger working loads and minimum breaking strengths. This steel block here has a 25,000 pound minimum breaking strength and a 5,000 pound working load. Both of the ones that we're looking at here have screw lock closures with captive bushings, so you'll simply unspin this, swing the side plate away, and the bushing, while it can slide over, cannot come off. These blocks are bulletproof, they're affordable, and they're pretty simple. They work well. They don't feature some of the rounded edges or the lightweight aluminum construction that you might find in some of the other blocks that we're going to look at. But if these fit your use case and your budget, they're an absolutely great choice. As we move across the table here today, all the rest of our blocks are going to have aluminum side plates, so that's definitely a differentiator. That's going to make them lighter, but it is going to change the way their safe working loads are presented. Here we have one of the CMI mini blocks. This is actually a 3/4 inch diameter block, which is why I chose to show it today. It is the largest capacity mini block. So this packs a big punch in a small package, and it does feature a spring-loaded opening, which I really like. That's much easier, and for me it's more secure than the screw. The bushing is captive, and you can see it can slide out a little here against the spring tension, which could be kind of annoying if you go to close it. 3/4 inches, it has an MBS of 51,000 pounds and a safe working load of 10,200 pounds. This is a big block in a small package. Looking at some of the other smaller aluminum side plate blocks, we'll jump into the notch range here. This is the notch 1/2 inch pulley, and of the 3 notch pulleys, this is the only one that has a screw closure. Again, it'll have a captive bushing like we see on the other pulleys and blocks, but it does feature kind of the most rounded edges that we've seen so far today. These also, all of the notch blocks also have a little flare here to allow the rope to lead fair if it's coming out at an angle or something other than that. These are all serialized, which I really like. These are not serialized. Keeping going, we'll look at the notch medium. So this is the 5/8 inch rigging block. This one has a working load of 25 kilonewtons and an MBS of 125 kilonewtons. 5/8 inch diameter rope capacity here at the sheave, and you're going to get a spring lock which requires a 180-degree turn. It's going to open. You'll see the spring pressure here is going to keep that bushing nice and captive. Again, rounded edges, nice flared opening. DMM has a line of 3 blocks, and they are by far the most premium blocks on the market. We'll look first at the small block, and then we'll go into the last notch and the other 2 DMMs here. So this is the DMM micro rigging block, and this thing is so cool. It's got a hollow axle, which you can use to suspend the block between 2 points if you'd like. And it has this screw closure here. So you untwist this. And I just love DMM stuff. I mean, look at the detail on this knob here. It's incredible. It's totally unnecessary, but it sure is cool looking. Little rubber grommet here actually keeps the screw in, which is neat. Sometimes you hear of people that don't screw shut blocks all the way shut. Try to say that 5 times fast. And they've been damaged as a result. This grommet is going to make sure that it's like kind of a little lock washer. And then, this is so cool, the way this splits open like this to allow you to get the rope in. All of the DMM blocks have some type of built-in keeper or cord on them, which is nice. Here on the mini block, you can see it's at the bottom. This is a nice way to hang this from your harness. You can just clip a carabiner right into there. We'll look here at the 5/8 inch DMM block. Again, you're going to have a really burly screw closure. We'll open this one up. And if you notice on these DMM blocks, these have the roundest edges and the smoothest surfaces that you're going to find anywhere. These are just incredibly nice blocks, really great labeling. And let's see here. This has a working load limit of 40 kilonewtons and a minimum breaking strength of 200 kilonewtons. That's incredible for a block this size. That's a really high breaking strength. Looking at the notch 5/8 inch block, we see a working load limit of
25
kilonewtons and an MBS of
125
kilonewtons in a slightly larger package. So, when you're paying the premium price for the DMM, you're getting a slightly higher working load and a slightly smaller form. You do get the spring function here, which is a noticeable difference. So if you don't like the screw lock, having this spring, again, captive bushing, is going to make a lot of sense. And then last but certainly not least, the big boy. This has a working load limit of 30 kilonewtons and an MBS of 300 kilonewtons. And I think there's an important point of differentiation here. DMM has calculated their working load limits with a 10-to-1 safety factor, whereas the working load limit on the notch and CMIs are calculated with a 5-to-1 safety factor. So the MBSs on these DMM blocks are truly impressive. Here on the big 3/4 inch DMM block, you'll notice this hollow axle. This is so cool. You can actually run a rope through here. So if you needed a second control line or a tag line, something that might not see the full load or the full amount of friction, you can run that right through here and not need to set up another block. You can also suspend this like this if you need to have it suspended from an anchor point here and there. Again, a gigantic burly screw lock. You see the option to use a spanner wrench. You'll find that on the 5/8 inch block as well. Man, this thing is huge. Look at that. Just a beautiful piece of equipment from DMM. See that it has a captive bushing as well. Ooh, it's heavy though. This is definitely the heaviest aluminum block we sell. Let's see if it's heavier than the large steel block. At least based on the scale of my arms. I don't know, it might be. They're definitely pretty equivalent if this isn't heavier. Should have brought a scale. We've looked at some of the bigger Arborist blocks, and I just wanted to highlight a few of the smaller pulleys that we sell that can also be used for rigging or in mechanical advantage. If you're setting up large scale mechanical advantage, if you're pulling with a truck for some reason or a machine, you might find that these types of blocks are the way to go. But if you're using hand power or something like that, you might find yourself needing a swiveling pulley or even a double pulley. This is the Petzl Spin L1D. This is a really cool pulley because it has a one-way sheave. So you can see it only spins the one way. So you actually get friction on the other side. If you incorporate this into a mechanical advantage setup, you can use it to provide not progress capture, but braking power on the pulling side. Pretty neat. This also comes in a version with a two-way sheave that doesn't have these little friction ridges in it. And they also swivel. Exotica also makes a line of Omni pulleys, which we'll show here, and those also feature the swiveling motion here, a 3-step push button, but don't have the one-way sheave. As we start to look at double sheave pulleys, say you want to set up a set of 4s, or you want to really build like a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 mechanical advantage, there's a ton of options on the web, probably too many to list. This is the Exotica Omni that I just mentioned. We showed the Petzl Spin. Exotica makes these in single sheave versions, carabiner versions a ton. But here is your kind of more standard double sheave pulley. So you'll push the button in once, push the button in a second time for 3 actions to open it, and you'll be able to do that on both sides independently. These sheaves run both ways, and you have a load rated becket on the bottom here, as well as a swivel at the top. I think these Exotica Omnis are probably some of the best pulleys that you can use to build a standard set of 4s if you wanted to put that together yourself. The Camp version here is called the Janus. Camp has a variety of these pulleys. They're on the more economical side, and they really just offer you a lot of extra options. Because you have a large multi-carabiner clip-in point here, a load-rated becket at the bottom, as well as these separate suspension points, you can really orient this pulley however you want. If you're doing slide lines or parallel movement, anything like that, something like this Janus Pro is going to be a really good choice for you. Very simple to use and reliable. So that's it. We covered 12 of our best-selling blocks and rigging pulleys. We have a really wide assortment of these on the web, and by no means, by not including them, are we saying you shouldn't check those out. These are just the most popular and best-selling options that we have, that we had available at the time of filming. So really appreciate your watching today, and I hope that this information helped you out. All of these blocks, as well as almost everything we sell online, is available for 7% off with a coupon code ONLINE, ONLINE. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.